right. I think we are live. Let me see here. I'm just waiting to see if we're live. Yes.
Fantastic.
All right. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another live stream. And with me today, I have someone that's very familiar on my channel. I have Michael Dowies.
Hi, Taylor. It's good to be
Hi.
back.
Yeah, hi, Michael. We've not done a video together in probably almost a year. Can you believe that?
Yeah, it's
Like
been a
on
long
my
time.
channel.
It's been a very long time.
And we probably should do more videos together on my channel.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
And even Michael's channel. So if you want more videos on Michael's channel or my channel as a combined effort, why don't you go ahead and subscribe, like, comment, ring that notification bell, and tell us what kind of videos you want.
For sure. Yep.
All right. Well, in today's live stream, I know it's kind of a little bit later than we customarily, do things. We don't usually do things at 10 o'clock at night central, but sometimes special occasions call for special times and special, streams.
Events.
Yeah. So today was the state of the word for WordPress. Now, the state of the word is basically almost like an Apple keynote, except for WordPress, or a state of the union. It's kind of where the co-founder, or the founder, I should say, Matt Mullenweg, goes through what's new with WordPress, what they've done over the past year, where they want to go, and all the new highlights. This keynote was about 42 minutes long, which was actually pretty normal. And they talked a lot about a lot of stuff. So we're going to kind of go into it. So Michael has not watched the State of the Word. And so I'm going to kind of brief him. And I also watched the State of the Word. I was hosting a State of the Word watch party for the Austin WordPress meetup, which, by the way, we are reviving.
How did
So
that
if,
go?
yeah,
How did that go before we continue?
it went amazing. It's been such an awesome opportunity. I literally revived this and got it going within like 3 or 4 days. I went through the WordPress meetup application process, then the orientation. It went so amazing. I could not be happier.
Fantastic.
And again, if you would like to join the meetup, I'll go ahead and put a link in the description. By the way, you do not have to be from Austin to join because we will have virtual events from time to time. And I'm also looking at doing some hybrid events as well from, in person and as well as doing it online. So everybody's welcome. Don't matter what city you are in. All right. So let's see here. Michael, do we have any chats?
No chats yet. I'm watching.
All right, so we don't have any chats according to Michael. So let's get into the juicy details, shall we? Well, there we go. All right. Before we do that, I had to deal with some annoying pesky Zoom pop-ups, but that's kind of the way of life. So I'm going to go over to my AI summary here that I just grabbed from the YouTube video. I used a tool called summarize.tech if you guys are interested. So let's go ahead and start this off with some basic details. So this word, I almost said WordCamp. We're going to get to WordCamps later. This State of the Word was hosted in Madrid, Spain, and it was the first ever international State of the Word. So before they were doing everything in the US, so like they did some in New York and California and other places. So it's very interesting that they picked this year to be the first State of the Word internationally. Of course, after we've been coming back from COVID and everything has been kind of rebooting, and we'll talk about that more later on, but it's kind of interesting that they chose Spain as the first international destination. I would have thought that they would have chose like Canada or something. I don't want to say closer to the Americas, but maybe so. What are your thoughts about that, Michael?
It makes sense. Pick somewhere random, somewhere different, somewhere where it's not as easily accessible for most people so that it gets more attention. That's kind of my view on that. So, really cool.
Yeah, and they did have a lot of Spanish in the event, so I was very intrigued. I'm like, I don't know how this AI summary will do because what they did is, of course, they had a Spanish audio track that went along with it, but then the presenters kind of mixed in a blend of Spanish and English throughout the keynote. And so it was very, very interesting. I don't think Matt knows Spanish. At least I don't think he spoke Spanish, but a lot of the presenters did, especially the first presenter. I couldn't get her name. It was a lady who kind of was from, actually not kind of, who is from Spain, and she just kind of introduced the state of the word, and she started off speaking Spanish. So that was very interesting and very informative. And then it kind of went into more of, introducing everybody, and we'll kind of get into that in a second. But it's very interesting, that they chose that, especially because, Spain, is Spanish and it's a different language. Again, I think they also did that because there's a huge WordPress community in Spain, and WordCamp Europe, I think, was a very big success. But we'll get into all that in a second. So I just kind of thought that I'd give a sneak preview into what's coming ahead. Any thoughts on this, Michael? Or any chats?
No, I'm no chats, and I'm ready to get into the meat of what was announced. So, don't keep us in suspense. What was all talked about? What is on the roadmap for the future?
Well, unfortunately, I gotta keep you in suspense. I don't like to do it, but unfortunately, we have to have what's her name? I have a brain fart. Just a second. Uh, unfortunately, we have to have the executive director for WordPress speak. And if I can remember what her name was, this is kind of embarrassing. Oh, Josepha. Thanks, AI. That was kind of embarrassing. I should know this, but it's been a long night, y'all. So Josepha kind of gives some words, and kind of talks about her leadership in WordPress. Matt kind of talks about it. And he kind of, Josepha has been dealing with WordPress for 10 years, and she's been in the position of executive director for over 4. And she kind of talked about everything that she's done and kind of a little bit of a reflection. And it's been pretty awesome.
Great.
Yep. So now we get into the meat and potatoes, and we introduce Matt Mullenweg. So we're going to kind of talk a lot about just different things. So let's see here. Okay. So they kind of talked about the open web, and that, people need to make sure that they can protect the open web, with all the things going on like Wix and Squarespace, and, even other website builders that are closed source. We want to protect the open web so that everybody can kind of have informed choice, and everybody understands that, the web is open and there are so many different choices to be made, and you don't need to be locked into a system. Excuse me. You don't need to be locked into a system, and that you should have the freedom to move around as you please. Okay.
That's one thing I want to start on. And that's interesting you mentioned that at least Squarespace does offer a way to import into and out of Squarespace, but that's mainly for blog and podcast content. They don't really offer a way to that I know of to like bring your shopping cart and all these other things that are really advanced things out of Squarespace and Wix. So yeah, that is kind of a big thing, and yeah, I'm glad they brought that up because it is important when you're building a website to know if I want to move this later on, like if I want to move this from Drupal to WordPress or WordPress to Drupal, or other open platforms. There's options there. Now, I would be curious, WordPress to React Native or React, I mean, or other JavaScript frameworks. Is there ways to do that? But uh,
I don't know that there is.
yeah, so it just kind of depends, but I like that they touched on that. And what was the kind of the verdict that they came up with on the open web?
that's kind of all I said, is that the platforms need to have a good way to migrate back and forth between, each platform. But again, I'm going to hold you in suspense. You guys got to stay to the end because there's some cool things coming that may end up being easier than your favorite migration plugins. So I'd recommend staying to the end. Don't click off this video. I know it's late at night, but trust me, you guys want to hear this. And, I may say this again in another video, but you want to hear it now. So yeah, you'll have to stay tuned.
I really am in suspense here. I want to know what all this stuff is. So
But unfortunately, I'm not going to tell you
oh well,
about the good
if you
details.
don't put the pedal to the metal, I might just have to go look it up because it's so good. It sounds so great. So let's go. Let's go.
Okay. See, I'm trying to add suspense here. And it's working. Okay, so we gotta get some more details out of the way. WordPress is 20 years old. And I keep telling Michael, I told him before the stream, I'm 4 years older than WordPress, y'all. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah,
And of
WordPress
course,
has been
yeah.
around for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, Matt kind of made a joke. He's like, I kind of feel like a proud parent. WordPress has matured so much. And I'm thinking to myself, oh boy, this is interesting. I heard that in the meetup today when I was hosting the State of the Word party, and I'm like, okay, this ought to be fun. But I mean, it's kind of true, right? You've developed this product for this many years, but I don't know. I guess the way it was put kind of made me was like, that was kind of weird. So, yeah. So WordPress is 20, and that's awesome. They had a birthday in May,
It'll be drinking age in May.
right? Okay. So there's been a lot of word camps. Now I talk about word camps, and I'm going to talk about it right now. So word camps, if you guys are not familiar, is basically it's almost like a conference for WordPress enthusiasts and website designers and developers. And basically what it is you have different tracks where you can go listen to speakers, and there's like WordPress swag, and it's a lot of fun. I have not done my first in-person word camp, but I hope to do that. I did one for WordPress Santa Clarita in California. And so if you have not checked out that presentation, it's on my YouTube channel somewhere. Man, I have so many videos. But yeah, it's on my YouTube channel, and I would highly recommend giving that a listen. But I would hope to do an in-person word camp, and maybe I could do that because maybe the word camp is in the same state that one of our friends lives in. Hint, hint. Can you guess? But you're gonna have to wait till the end to find out, because I'm not gonna tell you. All I know is that somebody we know lives in this state, and you guys may not know them, but Michael does, and I do. So we'll have to find out. All right. So, any comments, Michael?
Not at this time. Keep going.
Okay. There have been 70 word camps in 2023. Now, COVID has really destroyed word camps. In 2022, there was like 20, and there was like 10 in 2021, and like 2 or 3 in 2020. And so 70 is a big improvement from those other years. And so we're definitely getting more word camps back, and that is very exciting. Again, I hope to go to my first in-person one coming up soon, but we'll see what happens. So word camps are back again, and that is super exciting. Comments, Michael?
Nope. Keep on keeping on.
All right. The next word camp will take place in Taipei, Taiwan. I did not get dates for that, so you'll have to keep staying tuned. Of course, I'm not going to go to that one, but if you're in that region, that might be a good idea to go to that one and check that one out. Matt Mullenweg has never been to Thailand before, so he's looking forward to going there. He said that he has connected in an airport, but I agree, if you've connected in an airport, you haven't really explored the country. So yeah, it'll be his first official time actually going to Thailand. Meetups. So meetups are very, very important. And like I talked about in the beginning of this video / stream / whatever we're calling this thing, I now have a meetup of my own. Well, not of my own. I co-host it, but you know, the point is, I run the WordPress Austin meetup that's officially ran and sponsored by the WordPress community. Yep, I am now an official meetup organizer, and I'm very excited. So we just had our first State of the Word meetup party tonight. It was a big combined event with all the meetups in the state of Texas. It was huge. Of course, we didn't have that many attendees, but it wasn't very widely promoted, and it was kind of at the last minute, so what do you expect? But hey, if you want a good meetup to join for WordPress enthusiasts, you know, why don't you try WordPress Austin? It's really awesome, and even if you're not in Austin, that's okay because we've got a lot of virtual events too. So anybody's welcome. Does not matter if you're in Texas, Austin, wherever. Everybody's welcome. So meetups are really rebooting. It's been an exciting year, and a lot of meetups are coming back from the pandemic. They're running an annual meetup survey to understand how they can make meetups better. Of course, I encourage my attendees to fill this out so we can understand how to make them better. This is really intriguing. We have a new feature in WordPress.org to see new WordPress events near you. I'm very excited about this. I mean, yes, it was kind of in the dashboard before you could really see it, but this would be a good calendar to understand where is there a WordPress event near you. I'm super excited about that
No,
because then we can get more
that's
stuff.
pretty exciting. That's pretty
Sorry.
exciting.
I cut you off. I apologize.
No, you're fine. That's pretty exciting. I'm kind of excited to see that.
I am very excited because, like I said, that way my Austin events can get out to a wider audience. I think it would probably use location services, I assume.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
So let's talk about scalability, security, and growth potential. That's kind of a big, large topic. So let's break it down in parts. So let's talk about some things here. WordPress can handle high traffic websites. We already know this. But did you know that it can handle Taylor Swift's personal website, which has over 100,000 requests a second? Yeah, it can handle Taylor Swift's personal website. So, long story short, if you've got an idea for a website and you don't think WordPress could be the right platform, well, you know, I think that it will be very good because Taylor Swift's website runs on it and it gets 100,000 requests a second. That is ridiculous. I mean, of course, Taylor Swift was the artist of the year, and you can understand why. But yeah, 100,000 a second, WordPress had no problem. What do you think about that, Mike?
So I'm not surprised. I'm not
Neither.
surprised at all because we know the potential of WordPress. We use it on a day-to-day basis. It just comes back to how much server power can you throw at WordPress, and that's really the key.
Yes, but here are some other things. Security. Security is a big issue with WordPress. We have a lot of hacking and we have a lot of complaints and vulnerabilities, but the US government uses WordPress. So it runs websites like whitehouse.gov and nasa.org. So if the NASA and the US government is using NASA is part of the US government. If NASA and the government and all the other units are using WordPress, well, I really think it is safe because if the government uses it, you know, I want to think most likely it's secure, but you know, you gotta kind of be a little, I don't want to say skeptical, but you never know with the government
Well,
sometimes.
just like anything on the internet, it depends on how it's set up, and
Mhm.
it depends on even if the government agency that's using it has set it up correctly. As we know, being in the accessibility industry, the government may set up a lot of things, but if they do it right, is another story.
Uh-huh. That's why I say if they do it right. Yeah. So here's an interesting thing. It's called the Showcase Project. And what this simply is it allows people to understand what kind of websites can be done with WordPress with different case studies. So it basically highlights examples of large enterprises using WordPress. And we want to honor and remember people in the WordPress community who have passed. So they're going to create like a remembrance wall virtually. I think it's like remembering.wordpress.org or something, or wordpress.org/remembering. So that's interesting. I know those are kind of two unrelated topics, and I apologize for the brief, I guess the overlapping of things here. But those are kind of the topics that they have kind of put together. So any comments or any chats? We haven't checked for chats in a very long time.
No chats as of yet.
But any other comments on these topics?
Not at this time, no. Very interesting. Nothing stands out at me yet. Just kind of seems like a status report so far of like a
That's basically what
WordPress
it is.
report card, you know.
All right. Okay. Openverse. So Openverse is a search engine that basically it only indexes like Creative Commons and open license content in the world, and has recently won an award. So this could be interesting if you're trying to find things, if you're contributing to WordPress, or if you want something that's open source. It's like a search engine for open source items. I think this could be interesting. I actually learned about this today on the WP Minute. If you guys have not checked out that podcast by Matt Medeiros and others, I really recommend it because it has good WordPress news, and I learned about a lot of this stuff. So I kind of binge watched that this morning when I was getting ready for the day. And I'm glad that I did because it helped me a little bit prepare for the state of the WordPress. And I'll link these podcasts in the description. All right. Of course, we have the WordPress photo directory. My personal opinion is the WordPress photo directory is the most accessible photo directory ever. And the reason for this is all the photos have alt text on them that can be understood. So basically the WordPress photo directory is kind of a open source, for stock images. Do you remember this, Michael, or?
Yes, I do, and and what are they doing with it? Are they increasing it or
Yes.
oh, fantastic. I love that directory. So more images is always a better thing.
Have you used any of the images?
I think I have once or twice, but not many.
I think there's one of the Austin skyline.
There are a few.
All right. And you could even take photos if you really wanted to. I know you love photography, so that could be a good way to contribute to WordPress. Just saying. All right. Finally, Mullenweg discusses. Oops, I'm reading from the summary. Good job. Okay. Playgrounds. It uses WebAssembly to load PHP and a database in a browser, allowing for experimentation and learning in the browser without the need for setting up a local development environment. So this is what I was talking about earlier, Michael, where you can do things in like, PHP or whatever without setting up a local development environment. This could end up replacing your development environment actually, because you could literally sync it with your like VS Code or whatever. And so you could literally refresh the page. And I think like they did an example on the screen and they changed the admin bar color to navy blue and it did it like automatically.
Interesting.
Yeah, I couldn't exactly see how that works, but new features have been added. Ability to store and retrieve playgrounds beyond a page refresh. Test specific WordPress features like a beta. Use WordPress plugin previews. Now, what they said is that in order to like your plugin could have a one-click toggle in WordPress.org in order to allow plugin previews in the playground. And I know that for our plugins, I'm definitely going to allow this because I want people to be able to test our free plugins in a playground before they want to download them on the site.
That's neat.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about the I can't say that word. Simplification of the writing process. So There's been a lot of different things that they've done with Gutenberg. They've had phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and phase 4. And I think the phase 1 was editing and writing. Phase 2 was, I can't remember. And phase 3 is collaboration. And that's what they're working on now. So they had a video, or not a video, a demo. You could literally download the Gutenberg plugin, Michael, and it would almost be like a Google Doc. Of course, it's really buggy, but you can do live collaboration in a WordPress editor now.
That's fantastic. I mean, there's ways that this could possibly be used as a Notion alternative. The one thing with the Gutenberg editor is I really like it, but at least as far as like site editing and things like that, I think we're a little bit of a ways off as far as matching the customized themes like Generate Press, Astra, and others with the full site editor themes. So, um, I just hope they get there pretty soon with that. I
They
like
will.
just hover text and mobile menus and that kind of thing all being configurable is not there on the FSE. So I'd like to see that improve.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna kind of glaze over this. There's been some distraction-free writing modes added and some footnote stuff added, just kind of things like that. And of course, the WordPress community, the WordPress 2024 theme. On the community tab, Y'all, I can tell it's late. On the community front, there has been over 1,300 new contributors added to WordPress this year, which is exciting. 1,339. Okay. Let's see here. So phase 3 again looks at collaboration and WordPress as a design tool, which is interesting. I don't really know a whole lot about that, so we'll have to kind of look at that in the future. Okay. So WordPress collaboration workflow, I kind of glazed over this. Basically, you can have live collaboration in your WordPress dashboard and editor. There's no timeline yet, but there is a working prototype. And we also have patterns as well. Again, we've talked about this. I think Michael talked to me about this. And you can customize the text of a pattern while still having global design control. Interesting. I think I understand, but again, that's not something I really can wrap my head around.
Yeah, I'm not terribly sure on that, but that'll be interesting.
I think you can use a theme.json to edit certain properties of one instance of a pattern or something. Don't know. Additionally, you can have custom fields that are connected to blocks without custom field creation. I think this is more for developers, if to have things as blocks. I don't know how to explain this to a non-technical audience. Basically, you can have custom, fields connected to blocks. So you can do this, without having to code something specific.
I'm kind of excited about that.
That's what I understand. So I'll just kind of read the passage. You can, let's see. Addition of custom fields that can be connected to blocks without requiring custom block creation. Okay. Yeah, I just read that from my AI summary. So I think that you understand that. So let's do some improvements. So we have, we're doing a lot of performance improvements this time. So one thing that got talked about was speed. They actually had a demo site that they made in 2024. I think it's called wpmovies.dev. And they literally showed it loaded instantly. And they were showing an auto playing video. Again, I couldn't really understand this because it was kind of visual. But it was called wpmovies.dev, I think. And it was very interesting. So there's faster typing, without lag for Gutenberg, block operations, and insert hovering. And a new web dashboard to track this progress. And the front end API is being the front end API is being enhanced with the interactivity API I'm trying to understand this. Allowing for instant transition and searches through the website on the website. Lastly, the admin design is getting a refresh, especially on list views, which are becoming more customizable. Of course, Matt seeks user feedback to understand how these features can be improved. Any thoughts, Michael?
I'm interested in that admin redesign. That sounds interesting.
What I've heard is that they're going to make the entire thing blocks.
Ooh, fantastic.
I'm kind of worried. I don't know how that's going to go. But again, it's very important to add, or try this again. It's very important to make sure that if you have feedback, you need to give feedback. Now, how do you give feedback? Well, GitHub or social media or the Make WordPress Slack, which I am in. So, which I'd also recommend, Michael, if you want to join, where you can see all the things that are going with WordPress. Yeah, and also there's the accessibility person I talk to a lot with. Her name is Ann McCarthy. She does WordPress accessibility stuff. And I've gotten a lot of feedback to her as well on accessibility related stuff. And I'm gonna kind of drop a huge bombshell that went down this morning in WordPress Slack. But you're gonna have to wait till the end to find out, because I'm not gonna tell you now. You're gonna have to wait till the end. And you will not find this unless you're in the WordPress Slack. So I'd suggest waiting until the end of the video to find out more, because it's been very interesting and it could have been an accessibility nightmare. But that's been prevented for now. Okay. All right, now we're going to talk about AI. So of course, they're saying how AI is very important and is very important to the web design industry in general. Yeah. And basically, they were doing a WordPress playground blueprint generated with natural language processing. So the example was, I want an e-commerce website with SEO and something else. And basically it would tell you exactly what plugins to install, and it kind of give you like a pseudo roadmap to understand what you need to do. My only issue with that is, what if they tell you to install plugins that are not accessible? Excuse me. So I'm going to play with that and make sure that is accessible. But yeah, any thoughts, Michael?
Well, I think you could probably ask it what plugin will this plugin be accessible, and it could go online and do some searches, that kind of thing. But there's always, you never know.
Yeah, I can be wrong. All right. And also, they were really excited about teaching users how to do things, like not just doing it, but actually walking the user through, go to the settings, it's almost like having a WordPress tutor, 24/7 that's an AI. So I thought that was interesting. We'll see kind of how that goes. Right now, that's not fully implemented. All right. So what are focus areas for 2024? We've got AI and phase 3 of Gutenberg, which is collaboration and design tool, which aligns with WordPress's roadmap. Okay. Migration and data ownership. All right, y'all, this is what we've been waiting for. So here we go. Bombshell number 1, drop in now. So WordPress is going to be making first-party migration plugins. Now, if you're a developer who wants to write a migration plugin and have it supported by the community and all this other stuff, you can literally write a migration plugin and join one of these projects, and your plugin would literally be reviewed in 1 business day. Now, we're going to talk about the plugin review queue in just a second, because right now the plugin review team, by the way, is accepting applications. I would join that, but unfortunately, I don't feel like my knowledge of WordPress plugin development is that good, because I'm just starting. So I'll let that be for more experienced devs. But if you're interested, go check out the Slack and go check that out because we need more plugin reviewers because right now the current wait time for a plugin review is 79 days, which is kind of annoying. I'll make a video about that later, and that's kind of why I haven't published my plugins to the WordPress.org repository because I'm afraid they're going to get rejected and then they have to wait forever. So yeah, that's kind of how that goes. So basically, they're going to be making plugins to help with migration from one WordPress site to another or different CMSs, and I'm very excited about that. Any thoughts, Michael?
So, yes, I'm quite excited about this because it kind of means that we're going to start seeing, you won't need to, well, okay, they talk about going from one WordPress, one CMS to another, but I wonder about going from server to server. Like, if
That's
let's
also
say
covered.
that's also covered. Fantastic. So that's kind of the big thing. There won't be a need for a lot of these plugins that we use, like Updraft or others. So that's pretty exciting.
Very. Now, the other thing that basically, like I said, the goal is to unlock digital freedom and data, data liberation, as they call it, on the web. Okay. All right. Last bombshell of the evening. All right, here we go. All right. WordCamp US is in. Michael, do you want to guess what state it's in? Because, one of our friends might live there.
Arizona?
No. Try
No.
again. Nope.
Washington?
No. Remember,
Uh,
it's one of the states that our friends currently live in.
then I've got nothing.
Oregon.
Oh, cool.
It's in Portland this year. No dates have been announced, I do not think. Oh, yeah, that has been the state of the word. I probably missed stuff, but this was an awesome keynote. And oh, yeah, about that last bombshell I was going to throw down, let's go ahead and get that out of the way. So, if you are interested in like helping with WordPress or dealing with WordPress on a like developer level and being involved, WordPress wanted to switch away from Slack and go on to a client called Matrix, or a protocol, I should say. However, none of the sorry, y'all, it's like late at night, and my brain talks faster than my mouth can think. However, none of the clients for the Matrix server protocols are accessible for screen reader users. There was a big thread that went down this morning in the accessibility channel, and I happen to be part of it. I'm not going to mention names just because of, brevity and things like that. We got this sorted out. But basically, a bunch of users were kind of saying, well, if you guys are going to switch to Matrix that's not fully accessible, then I'm going to leave the project where my voice is actually being heard and not just making sure that this platform is inaccessible. In other words, we want to make sure that all users can communicate, or else I'm going to go somewhere else where my voice will be much better off. So WordPress kind of heard all this and they were not that happy about it. So right now they have continued to stick with Slack for now. What I'm concerned about though is like the community team is wanting to go to Matrix. So I'm afraid that there's going to be fragmentation and that is not going to be good. So I am looking into that as well. And again, these are people, especially for meetup organizers, because a lot of the meetup organizers have to be on the Make WordPress Slack, to communicate with the community team. And so I'm concerned that this may be a barrier for potential WordPress organizers who may have disabilities or other people who may be interested in the WordPress project as a whole. And so what I'd urge you guys to do is make sure that you can get your voice heard, and either we need to make these Matrix clients accessible, like the one that they were trying was called Element, or they need to figure out another plan and maybe do something else other than Matrix and maybe Slick to Slack. I understand why they're doing it, but personally, from an accessibility standpoint, it just doesn't make sense. Michael, do you have any thoughts about this?
I really don't. I think it's interesting. I've never really used Matrix, so I do not have any experience with that. But yeah, it's I think it's good they're sticking with Slack for now. But yeah, I'm kind of with Taylor. I'm wondering what they're gonna do in the future. So we'll just have to kind of watch and be have your make your voice heard. Get out there and talk to the community and say this is what we want and what will work best for us. So yeah.
Yes. And again, please, if you're not, just join the accessibility channel on the Make WordPress Slack. That's a good place. And I think there's also a blog post that you could comment on. For some reason, I tried to comment on that this morning and leave my voice, my feedback. And I don't know what happened to the form. I think it got closed. So I just ended up leaving my feedback in the accessibility channel on Slack. All right. Any last words before we go ahead and depart the stream today? Anything else, Michael?
I do not have anything, no. And no
Alrighty.
chats for today.
That's okay. I know it's probably late and people are like, why are you still streaming?
Yep.
So, if you guys would like this content, if you want more, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Also, why not go ahead and subscribe to Michael's channel? I believe I have that linked on my channel. If I don't, I'll go ahead and fix that. But please keep subscribing to our stuff, like, comment, share with a friend. I want some more visibility, and we're gonna be doing some more videos. I've got a really good surprise coming your way for next year. Let's just say that these computer videos where I'm just sitting at the desk doing, different things, well, they may not be everything that you see next year. Let's just say that there might be some videos shot in Austin, in, different parts of the city, doing things that, well, you may not think that I know how to do. And well, I'll just kind of give some surprises. One of them might be crafting. Right. I may have talked about this a little bit, but we may have some crafting tutorials coming your way. We also may have some other tutorials about WordPress and other things like that, and some interviews coming. So if you guys don't want to miss all my videos and my crazy personality, I mean, sometimes, then maybe you should subscribe and share with a friend, share with a few friends, or even, post it on your Facebook saying how awesome my channel is. I mean, that'd be awesome. So without further ado, I hope y'all have a great night and hopefully you have an awesome week. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. If I don't post a video before then, I'm going to be traveling, so we'll see what happens. But I hope you guys have a great rest of your year, great holidays, and I hope to talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
All right. Let me stop this if I can.